Hi, this is Willie from Hallelujah Acres, and welcome back to another episode of the Organic Gardening Series. Today we're going to talk a little bit about pepper plants. And the peppers are actually listed on the top 10 list of fruits and vegetables that are contaminated with pesticides. So I think it's a good crop for us to talk about. And one thing that a lot of people don't know is that peppers are actually a perennial plant. If they're protected from frost, they'll live for more than 1 year. So one of the best things that you can do is to take your pepper plants before you get too late into the season and dig that plant up and put it into a container so that you can bring it into your house and put it on a sun porch or near a bright lit window or someplace where it can keep growing through the winter, and you'll have a continuous harvest of peppers. Now the plants that we have here we got started early in the spring and transplanted them out to the garden, and you can see they're still loaded with peppers. We do, now that the days are getting shorter and the temperatures are cooler, we're starting to have a lot more peppers get ripe. Here's one here. You can see that we're getting nice ripe peppers here. They're turning color very quickly now that the days are getting shorter. So let's dig up this plant and see if we can get it into a pot. And so what I first need to do is just try to dig as big a root ball as I can around it to get into a container, and hopefully I won't destroy it in the process. And one reason I'm doing this now, it's a little bit early. You know, we've still got a month or two before we have to worry about frost here in Shelby. But if I do this and I try to get this plant acclimated to a container, and for some reason I'm unsuccessful, I still have time to get another plant out of the ground before they get killed by the frost. So, trying to keep as much of the root ball intact as I can. I'm going to take this plant and transfer it into a container. Now I had two set up here because I wasn't sure how big of a pot I was going to need based on the size of my root ball. But what I'll do is I'll just take some potting mix. This has been amended with compost, and I'll put it in around here to get this plant established. I want to make sure that I've got plenty of support for the roots in here. I'm also going to take a little bit of my organic fertilizer mix and put that in before I finish topping this off. And let me get a little more of my soil mix to go in there. Now this plant, because I've disturbed its roots so much, it may need to have a stake put in it. But I know that you'll get the general idea just from watching here. If I pack it in a little bit, that'll help support it. And it needs a good watering. And then it's ready to go. Now one thing you need to do to help prevent it from having too much stress is to go through here and remove all the large peppers from the plant, because they're drawing a lot of energy out of it, and we want to give that plant a chance to recover from the stress we put it through by digging it up and cutting some of its roots. So I'll just go through and take all those off. I'll water it well, and I'll take it and I'll move it into a shady place so it cuts down on the moisture loss from the plant and give it time to adjust to being in the container. Now there's a couple other things that we can talk about just in general about peppers. I've been harvesting from these plants for over 2 months already, and they'll continue right up until a hard frost if I leave them outside in the ground. So in order for that to happen, you need to be harvesting your peppers when they start producing. You don't want to just leave them sit there waiting for them to turn red. Now if you don't like green peppers, it's still a good idea for you to pick off the small fruit early in the season to stimulate the plant to continue producing. And then as we get later in the season, they'll start turning red when the days get shorter and the nights get cooler. Another trick you can do if you're really craving for ripe red peppers or yellow is to go with another variety. You can go with the Italian frying type peppers or something. They're long, they call them, a lot of them are like bull's horn, and they're long and pointed. They're still a sweet pepper. They're not hot. Some people have the mistake that, or think that they might be hot because of the shape of the peppers, but many of them are quite sweet. So you might want to try those as another way to get earlier red peppers. You can also do the same thing with the hot pepper plant if you happen to like the salsa varieties, jalapenos or habaneros or any of the other types of hot peppers. You can do the same thing. Dig up the plant and bring it indoors for the fall. And so that's another episode of the Hallelujah Acres gardening series.